It'd be interesting to get your reaction to Liz Truss's speech. Should she be given some credit for accepting that there was a problem, a big problem, and she has acted on it, knowing that it won't please everybody, but she's accepted that something needs to be done?
Not at all. Look, she has trashed the British economy. She's put hundreds of pounds on people's mortgages, and she's humiliated the Conservative government in the eyes of the world. People are angry, they're fed up, and they're worried about the future. And above all, they're furious with the Conservative Party. That's why it's time they had their say, the people had their say. That's why it is time for a general election.
Good news about the corporation tax, though, the U-turn on that. It's going to bring in £18 billion, which the country needs.
Well, Liberal Democrats opposed the Liz Truss plan to cut it in the first place. We also think there should be a windfall tax on the oil and gas company profits. We should also not give the banks the cut with the reduction in the levy. That would enable us to have a lot more money to help people and businesses and have a more fiscally sound budget, which would take the pressure off mortgage rates. We've got to help people struggling with their mortgages at the moment, and we've got to help people with their energy bills, and you've got to find the money for that. And so Liberal Democrats have got a lot of positive proposals there, and it's been the failure of the Conservative government and their MPs to go in completely opposite direction that's led to the pain that so many homeowners and businesses are feeling.
This country does have low investment, low growth, low wages. It needs bold moves, doesn't it? Do you think that there can be a reset now, and perhaps Jeremy Hunt is the person to do that?
Well, I have some doubts about Jeremy Hunt, partly because of his record as Secretary of State for Health. Many of his policies and approaches there have led to the problems we've seen in the health service and now care services now. So it's so important that we get a health service right, and he's got a pretty poor record. And then also on the economy, he fought the Tory leadership twice in 2019 and 2022, and his flagship policies were cuts in corporation tax, even deeper than Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng. So I'm not even convinced he's got the right approach on the economy. And that's why Liberal Democrats are clear. Frankly, it doesn't matter whether it's Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, Kwasi Kwarteng or Jeremy Hunt. It's the whole lot of them. I think people have lost trust with the Conservative Party, and understandably so. We fought 3 by-elections in the last year or so in Tory heartlands, and Liberal Democrats beat the Conservatives in Tory heartlands, in True Blue Buckinghamshire, the Chesham-Amersham by-election just over a year ago, then in North Shropshire, a seat that Tories had held for 200 years, and then East Devon last summer. And, you know, when we knocked on doors and spoke to lifelong Conservatives, they said the Conservative Party was taking them for granted. The Conservative Party either didn't get it or didn't care and was out of touch. So that's why we are clear the Conservatives have got to be got rid of, and we need a general election to let the people do that.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a general election, and we've heard all the reasons from Sam as to how a general election could potentially come about, but you're not in a brilliant position, are you, in the Lib Dems? Because people in this country don't feel that you've necessarily got fire in your belly, that you could come up with a fiscal plan that's better than anyone else's to get out of the mess that we're in.
I totally disagree with you. Not only did we win 3 by-elections that I mentioned, we also, in the last May elections, we had huge numbers of people coming to the Liberal Democrats. We had the best results across the whole of the United Kingdom. So people are coming to our cause politically. And when we look at solutions to our economic mess, it was the Liberal Democrats who first proposed a windfall tax, then copied by Labour. And the Tories, unfortunately, didn't do it properly, but they tried to do some sort of windfall tax. We led the debate on that. And then at the beginning of the summer, we led the debate saying that the energy price cap should be frozen and shouldn't go up. Labour then copied us again, and then the Tories did something, again, not very good, because they still allow people's bills to go up by another £500. So we've been leading the intellectual debate on the economy. We've got a whole set of economic policies which are really positive and would help grow our economy in a sustainable way that would be fair, that would ensure we did have a green economy and that we cared for people. And that vision of a fairer, greener, more caring country, the Liberal Democrat vision, is, I think, something that will resonate with voters, does resonate with voters, and they know that the Conservatives will never deliver that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to blame the Conservatives for the situation we're in, but of course...
Well, they have been in power for quite a few years.
They have, but the UK...
Yeah, so they've been in power,
true,
so it's not unreasonable for an opposition leader to say, you've been in power and you've messed it up. You've messed our health service up, you've messed our economy up. And people are cross about it. And I'm sorry, people are angry, and don't put it away. The Conservatives are to blame.
No, my point is that economies around the world are struggling and suffering, and part of that is because of the war in Ukraine, part of it is because of the struggles recovering from a post-COVID world. So you can't lay everything at the door of the Tory Party.
Well, you're right, there are some international pressures, COVID, Ukraine, but then if you compare how other countries have dealt with those challenges and how they are now, the true failure of the Conservatives becomes even clearer. If you look, for example, at future growth prospects, take the OECD and IMF analysis, who look at all the countries, the UK and the Conservatives bottom of the league, except for Russia. That is the record of the Conservatives internationally. So yes, there are international pressures, but other countries, I'm sad to say, have dealt with them much, much better. And the Conservatives have failed our country, and they've failed it really badly. And Conservative MPs, frankly, should do their patriotic duty and allow a general election.
OK, Sir Ed Davey, leader of the Lib Dems, great getting your reaction. Thank you very much for that.